Hi, I'm Bethany Wallace with Bethany Communications and Consulting. I've been doing a few videos about communication skills related to interviewing in the hiring process. We've talked about writing skills, we've talked about nonverbal communication skills, and I'm going to do a few different videos on verbal communication skills because I think that's kind of a big one and just can't be covered in one video. I would also encourage you to look at the other videos on my YouTube channel and some articles on my blog related to interview tips, because some of the things that I won't cover in these videos are covered in other videos. So the key, in my opinion, to performing well in an interview when it comes to verbal communication is just balance. And so that is related to every single part of how you communicate in an interview. You don't want to come off as sounding too loud, but you don't want to be too quiet and mousy. You don't want to sound like really high-pitched and really excited and, over the top, but then you don't want to sound like you're just so bored and so low and really monotonous and really slow. So no, you want to find the mean between extremes. And that is it with every single thing related to your voice tone, to pitch, to the length of your responses. You don't want to provide super short answers like, you don't want to, if that you're asked a question, you don't want to say, yeah. It's like, okay, and but then you also don't want to do like these super long dramatic monologues every time that you're asked an interview question, and not just provide one example of a time when, but go into your life story and tell them, well, actually, I can think of 10 examples of that. The first one was when I was 2 years old and I burned my finger on the stove. I learned a great lesson then. The second time was when I was 4. No, that's not going to help you out at all. So you want to specifically answer interview questions. Behavior-based interview questions, people for some reason seem intimidated by those. And even when you read about the STAR method, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about stars. Don't get intimidated by that. You don't even have to know what a star is. Just focus on giving a specific example based on your experience that matches what you're being asked to talk about. That's it. Talk about something that happened, like what that situation was like, what happened, and then what it was like as a result because of what you did. That's it. That's very simple. And just make sure that you do practice those questions and your responses ahead of time, of course, to the best of your ability. I mean, you cannot possibly prepare for every single interview question in advance. There's no way that you can do that, because some interviewers just get their kicks from coming up with crazy questions, and then some stick to a very pre-rehearsed script, and you don't really know what you're going to get. The best thing that you can do is practice and prepare in terms of common interview questions, and then also your communication skills. So easing your nerves, combining great nonverbal and verbal communication skills together, and practicing that sort of great skill set in lots of different situations prior to interview will help you to practice that same or perform in that same way when you're in your interview. I hope that these tips will kind of help you to prepare verbally for your next interview. And I'll also be doing at least one more video about verbal communication and how you can use those moments when you're verbally communicating during the interview to highlight other soft skills that you possess. So you can reach out to me if you think that maybe you're in need of some communication coaching at bethanywallaceko.com.